Howdy folks, I'm Hyperbolic Hyacinth, happily hyping up humiliated hydrangeas.
I'm Amber.
And why are they hydrangeas? Why have they been humiliated, Amber?
Well, there may be another flower at some point we'll get to who's kind of mean.
Oh no, we have terrible, horrible, mean flowers. Let's get started. But I'm the good one because I'm hyping everyone up. You're awesome. Alright folks, and our first letter is titled, Am I the Jerk for Taking an Entire Garden with Me When I Moved Out? Alright, so here is the deal. I am a 32-year-old female, and I have been living with my roommate, Jenna, a 29-year-old female, for the past 3 years in a rented house. Over this time, I poured my heart and soul into transforming our backyard into a beautiful garden. I planted flowers, herbs, and even some vegetables. Gardening became my passion project, and it brought me a lot of joy and tranquility to my life. Jenna was initially indifferent to the garden, but recently started showing it off to her friends, claiming that it was a shared effort. Well, a few months ago, Jen and I started having more and more frequent disagreements about chores and guests. Tensions were on the rise, and I decided it was time for a change. I found a new apartment with a small patio where I could continue my gardening. When the moving day came, I carefully dug up all of my plants, I potted them, and then I transported them to my new place. I left a note for Jenna explaining that the garden was my creation and I wanted to take it with me. Now Jenna is furious, saying that I am a jerk for leaving the backyard barren. She feels embarrassed because she had already planned a garden party for her friends. Some mutual friends think that I should have at least left a few plants behind, while others understand that the garden was my personal project. So am I the jerk for taking my entire garden with me when I moved out? Alright folks, what do you think?
Not the jerk, it's your garden.
Amber's like, no explanation needed. Your garden, your choice. Well, I mean, I think that OP, this is probably the pettiest gardening story I have ever read. Like not stealing, but taking her entire garden with her. Like, that's some effort. That's some next level effort right there.
Yeah, I mean, but I understand wanting, to keep your plants with you.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, if the former roommate likes gardens so much, she can plant her own.
I suppose so. And I mean, like, it does cost time, money, and effort to build a garden, right? The one concern I have is what condition did it leave the backyard in? Did they take the soil and whatnot? Was that soil that they bought? There could be some, issues with, like, the landlord and whether or not that was actually property, because you can't just take dirt, So I don't know. I don't know if that's legal or not, and I think that probably, I imagine they put mulch and stuff like that down, so there's probably, to some degree, their own, like, dirt and whatnot. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Miserable Alarm 5963 says, not the butt face, assuming it was your money that paid for it. It would be like her getting mad that you hadn't left behind garden furniture that you had bought the materials for and built. And Fragrant Tomalatilio 19 says, not the butt face. What people aren't thinking of is the fact that you're a gardener, so it really wouldn't have worked out anyways, since Jenna never put any time or effort into creating or maintaining the garden or any of the plants. They would most likely die. People don't realize that a garden needs more than just watering. It needs active maintenance. Why waste plants that you can continue to enjoy so Jenna can benefit from your work for her ego?
I mean, that's, I think, a really important point, too, is that, yeah, maybe the plants would have flourished for a little while, but if no one's taking care of them, eventually it would have not gone well for them.
Yeah.
They deserve someone who will take care of them.
And Lillian Hart says, not the butt face. If anyone gives you grief, tell them that you left all of the plants that Jenna had planted behind. And Mayor Bear says, absolutely not the butt face. That's a ton of work, and it's your work. Jenna can go buy a bunch of plants and stick them in the ground. Alright folks, and our next letter is titled, Today I found an Undress Me AI photo of my mom on my boyfriend's phone. I'm a 27-year-old female, and my boyfriend, a 26-year-old male of 2 years, just completely blindsided me. I found this photo on his phone and was in sheer disbelief. We have been planning our future together. Wedding, kids, goals, etc. This was the first relationship that I've ever had, and I could say that I was proud and I felt loved. We fit together so well in every way. He checked all of my boxes. Was he perfect? No. But those things that were left were fine for me to overlook and or work on with him together because I'm not perfect either. But now I just feel like a fool. The photo was downloaded on Valentine's Day, a day which we spent together. Obviously, I can't seem to wrap around my mind about when he would have been able to do this and also use it, which I know he has. To make matters somehow worse, the photo in question is the one that I am in, but has been subsequently cropped out of for his purpose, apparently. Our lives are fairly intertwined. For not being married yet, the proposal was supposed to happen in the next year or so, and we live together and work together. We have animals. I realize that this isn't intertwined as some, but given how many times I've started over already, I can't imagine doing it again. Plus, I'm not even sure that I could afford a place alone at the moment, and I'm really past the time of having roommates personally. My mother and I don't talk anymore, so there isn't really a risk of them overlapping. But how on earth do I consider moving past this? Should I even? I'm so shaken right now. All I know is that my stomach is in knots and my heart physically hurts me. A lot of people comment on how similar my mom and I look. We have the same body type, but mine is slightly more athletic, and since I haven't had any kids yet, my boobs aren't quite as big. Other guy friends that I've had in the past have said that my mother is a MILF and hot, which I have always been disturbed by. He says that it was just one time and has apologized about it, acknowledging how sick it is and that he has betrayed my trust, etc. Alright folks, what do you think?
Oof. I really, really don't even like the existence of things like Undress Me AI because I know that's not someone's real body, like it can't actually undress them, but it gives you the impression of someone's naked body without their consent. So it's really gross invasion of privacy type of deal. I don't like it at all. I guess it's really hard to give OP advice here because it sounds like she's between a rock and a hard place. So I would say, weigh your options carefully and your situation carefully. And potentially if there's a neutral third party you can talk over your situation with, a good friend, a counselor, someone like that. They may be able to help you get some clarity because I understand why you're not comfortable with this. It does seem like a gross violation of your trust. But it also sounds like it's a very hard situation to extract yourself from.
Yeah, I mean, this is a difficult situation, and I can understand why OP is very hurt here, because what he did here was betray OP's trust, right? He downloaded a photo of OP's mom and used it for nefarious purposes. And the thing is that, yes, like in the past, people have probably been able to commission photos and stuff like that. If someone really found an unscrupulous artist, they could get them to do the same kind of thing, right? Now, it seems like this is much more available and accessible. And the question I have is, like, why, right? Why even do this? And I think that this was, I think he probably should talk to a therapist at this point in time. I'm not saying that OP should stay with him, but I think that this is something that's more on a deeper level that he should probably talk about and, try to understand, like, why he even did this.
I mean, I imagine it's the same reason that anyone else would do it. It was some sort of for the gratification and curiosity and whatnot, and that doesn't make it okay, especially not if he's using it for gratification purposes. But
yeah, but this is hard for OP. I hope that she can figure out a way of leaving this person. I understand why she would want to, and figuring out how to untwine her life from this individual. Like, maybe it starts off with a separation where you say, look, we're not together right now. We are separated. We'll continue to live in the same place for a little while, and we'll slowly branch out from each other when there's the time to do so. As long as she feels that this individual is safe to continue to live with, that is. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Liberal Thinker says, I wouldn't stay with someone who used an app like that on anyone's picture without consent. And OP replies, I simply can't believe that he would do something like this. It's so out of character for him. He's very feminist, gentle-natured, etc., and it makes no sense why he would do this. But I did tell him that it was incredibly gross and inappropriate. I can't even believe websites like this exist, honestly. All AI is trash. Edit, y'all, I'm not trying to defend him. I'm just saying I'm having a hard time letting go of who I thought he was. Like, I'm so blindsided, and obviously he did an okay job at convincing me that he wasn't this slimy. Well, and I mean, like, I'm sure there are aspects of him that are fine, and I'm not saying like the whole character of him is completely bad. But again, like what OP is saying here, there were parts of him that she loved, and thought were genuine and whatnot.
Well, and like you can't fall. It's really gross to blame victims, because again, like you're not the one in that relationship. You're not the one seeing how they presented themselves, and so I think it's really not okay to blame OP for not realizing this sooner or anything like that.
Yeah. And also, like, I would stop short of saying that all AI is trash too, because there's a lot of AI out there that is honestly useful and honestly good. It's a tool like any other thing, right? There are certainly like research and whatnot. And when I've done research in the past, I've done research with AI and helping with detecting like breast cancer and whatnot. That's a good use of AI.
And then there's kind of the neutral and whatnot. I love Google Lens to identify butterflies and flowers.
So there are good things about AI. It just happens to be that there are some nefarious things about AI as well. Alright folks, then our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Calling Up My Daughter-in-Law and Demanding to be Invited to Her Mother and Daughter Sibling Outing to make a point and telling her that fair is fair. When the kids were much younger, I would take just my daughters out for some mother-daughter bonding time. It is something that I've adored for a long time, and my daughters loved it too. We do it every couple of months, and it's just a nice time to catch up. The issue came when my daughter-in-law found out about these outings. About 2 years ago, she learned about them and made a huge deal about not being invited. It got to the point where if I didn't invite her to a daughter-son dates, then my son would go no contact with me. I caved, and my relationships with my daughter took a hit. Over time, they didn't want to hang out with my daughter-in-law, saying that they just wanted to catch up with me and not pretend that she is their actual sister. Also, I do not see her as a daughter. I didn't raise her, and I don't have all of that bond with her. This brings me to the present. I learned that she is going on a girls' trip with her mom and sisters. I wasn't invited. This is where I might be the jerk. I called her asking for an invite, saying that I'm her mom, and that she is excluding me from the family. She told me no, and it started an argument. My son got in on it and used the same text that he sent to me about not being welcoming to the family. In the end, I told them either I'm invited, since fair is fair, or she needs to not invite herself along to my daughter's outings. She called me a petty bee and agreed not to be invited anymore. My daughters think that it's hilarious, but my son and daughter-in-law are mad. All right, folks, what do you think?
Not the jerk. Fair is fair. I mean, I understand wanting to have some time just you and your daughters. The daughter-in-law is not someone that OP raised. And, there's sort of, like, you can have more intimate moments than you can in a, like, bigger setting with people you don't know as well. And I think the important thing is as long as she's not being excluded from, like, the major family events, that's what matters more than anything.
Well, and I mean, I think there's room for a little bit of compromise here, right?
Oh, yeah. Like,
I think, sorry.
I was going to say that, like, it would be fine to make maybe alternate. So sometimes they do get-togethers with like all of them. Sometimes they do it with just OP's bio daughters.
Yeah, because it could be that she's looking to connect with OP and the sisters. Maybe she likes hanging out with them. Maybe she wants to feel a part of the family, and this is her way of doing it. Maybe she's doing it in a little bit of a shoehorned way where it isn't reflecting well on her, but maybe she's just bad at social interactions and getting to know people, and she just desires to have a group of people that she can hang out with. So I don't think that she's necessarily wrong for wanting to be invited, but I think that she's going a little far here by getting her husband involved and trying to like force herself into these. And
well, again, that's the issue, is like the whole threatening to go no contact if she doesn't. Like, they basically gave her an ultimatum of, you're never going to see us again, which is, I mean, within their right to do, but it's not a very good way to maintain family relations.
Exactly. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Bulbasaur Ranch says, perfectly played. If the rule applies to you, they have to apply it back to her. I'm glad that you stood up for yourself and threw it back in their face like that. But oh no, she and your son are upset. Oh well, it doesn't matter. They did this to themselves. She sounds like it's a struggle to enjoy her presence, not the jerk. Alright folks, and our last letter is an update. Update on announcing my wife's pregnancy at my brother's wedding after he proposed at mine. This one was from a little while ago, and basically what happened is that OP's, brother proposed at their wedding and basically ruined their wedding. So OP announced that they were pregnant at the brother's wedding. And so the mother was really upset about this, but the grandma was like, they had it coming or something like that. Okay, so some bad news and some amazing news. Bad news is that my brother figured out that we weren't actually pregnant at his wedding and he was livid. As in, his wife. I really don't care. I know that it's childish, but he started it. The amazing news is that we are pregnant for real. We are pregnant at the time of the wedding, but we didn't know it. Thanks again for validating my immature and vengeful nature. I guess I have grown up now. Sorry for the short post, but I'm so excited that I almost didn't post at all. All right, folks, what do you think of that update?
Congratulations to OP and his wife.
Congratulations. All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here, and Amber has a proxy for a joke.
Tim, you slept under the car during your vacation. Why? Jim, I wanted to get up oily in the morning.
If you have an oil leak in your car, then you should get that fixed and not let it drip into the ground. That's not environmentally sound. And I have licorice spice.
It was like an 80s joke book. There wasn't an environment to care about.
Alright folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Happy spectacular Saturday. I hope your Saturday is off to a spectacular start. Amber, we need some kind of moral advice and or guidance, and please have it a haiku.
Fair is fair for me, and fair is fair for you. Don't try and bend the rules.
I think that works. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye!